Welcome back to the channel. Today I have another video coming at you from the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival. I had 3 goals while going down there. That was to ride some Ibis bikes, ride some pivot bikes, and check out the all-new Hardline Trail.
Nice.
2 out of 3 isn't bad, and today we have the Ibis Ripmo version 3. Spring is here and the reviews are coming fast, so please subscribe so you don't miss an upload. Jensen USA has Ibis and more, so check them out if you need anything for yourself. If you're looking to make a purchase, consider using the affiliate links in the description below and on my channel's page. It helps the channel directly and encourages brands to let me review bikes, so let's get into it. I've been a fan of Ibis for a long time and was working at a shop in Colorado when they first introduced the Carbon Mojo full suspension bike. Today there are a lot of good carbon full suspension bikes, but back then there were a lot of mediocre or just bad designs out there. Boasting the DW link, this bike was like nothing I'd seen or ridden, and a very different feel than most of what I'd ridden before. There were a lot of steps in between, but let's get into the new Ripmo V3. This bike was introduced last summer and looked very different than the bike before. It also boasted some big claims. So what are we looking at? Well, it looks like every bike I'm reviewing lately. It has 150 millimeters of rear wheel travel with a 160 fork, and of course it needs to be purple. What makes it different is the DW link, with bushings in the low link to increase stiffness, durability, and reduce weight. It now has in-frame storage, they call it stow, better lines equal better standover, the ability to run it mullet or dual 2.9. It has good frame protection, including a shuttle guard. Last to mention would be the extra medium size that I'm riding. Let's take a quick look at the geometry. The bike I'm riding is the Workhorse XT build, and I don't have any complaints beyond the personal preferences. I'm happy to see the new Fox factory suspension, but maybe too much in-house stuff for the price. Let's talk about how this thing climbs, and I included my initial ride thoughts here.
All right, well, I guess we should talk about how it climbs. Technical climbing is good. Very good balance of traction and pedaling efficiency. I would give it top scores for efficiency there, for sure. Ooh, need to be careful. Top scores for efficiency. Top scores for body position too. And more of a, thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good? Yeah, it's a little slick. Have fun. One more behind me. All right. Let's go back through that real quick. So efficiency, top marks. Body position the same. Traction. Really good technical climber. Probably top marks are 4. Switchbacks, it actually struggled more than I would think based on those other characteristics, but this is a very technical area. Switchbacks are tight, loose, or wet. Like, yeah, gonna give it a 3 or 4 there. Once we're done with the ride, we'll retally everything up and see how things look.
For body position, I gave it a 4. It's very near the best, but the weight distribution could have been better both climbing and descending. Weight is a touch over the rear wheel. For efficiency though, it's a 5, which it should be, and traction 4, but on the lower end of 4, almost a 3. You can really feel it firm up when putting down the power. Last, for the switchbacks, you again notice that extra weight on the rear wheel with the short stays and the 76.5-degree seat-tube angle. All in all, it's a strong climber, and while it doesn't feel as light as, say, the Orbea Occam, it certainly has more pep than the Santa Cruz Bronson. Let's get into the fun stuff. This first move is always fun, and the moisture adds just a touch of spice. The traction in this situation is pretty good, but once you get up to speed, it's definitely behind bikes like the Santa Cruz Hightower or Transition Sentinel. The rear wheel bias again means you get more feedback through the suspension when things are chunky. Let's check back in for some of my other trail thoughts.
So how's this thing descent? Well, first off in the chunk, it feels very capable for a 140, 150-ish bike. Nothing surprising there. I'd probably give it a pretty just even score, 3, maybe 4. And then when we're talking about steeps, I feel similar to a lot of current bikes. It does well, even in that slow speed section. it's not an issue, but it's more of an issue. All right, so I don't know when the battery died, but so steep. It handles steeps well, got a decently high front end. I do think the low rise handlebar makes it not feel quite as capable as it could. I do like how the back end is a bit shorter. It's not as long as some I've been riding lately, so that's a benefit, at least to me. And what do we got? Chunk, steeps, jumps. Well, pretty nimble on the trail. That back end has something to do with it. This DW link, similar to a number of the other ones I've ridden, it likes to pop out of things and firms up when you press in pretty good. Probably give it a 4 there, nothing special. And to be honest, I haven't gotten to hit much for jumps on it. The last cornering, this bike corners really well. That's definitely a place I'd give it a higher score. Not the best of the best, but for the travel, probably the best of the best, like 4 or 5. No berms here, but we got some really good terrain for pushing in and out of. Woo! I didn't see that one coming. Oh, and right into that stump.
As I mentioned, steeps, it's very composed. The body position here is a trade-off for that steep posture with pedaling and chunk. Where the bike more excels is jumping around and in the corners. It's not as light on its feet as the Orbea Occam, but it's nearly there and it likes to ramp off rocks and roots. It's also very fun in pockets and finding backside. It doesn't maintain as well in sweeping and loose corners, but on the fun scale, it's certainly up there. So how's it look in the Loam library? The Loam score is 38, putting it here against similar trail bikes. It's a very balanced bike climbing and descending and shows just how competitive the current market is. For value, I was torn. I settled on average because while it does get the nicer suspension for the XT build, it's also more expensive. Quality-wise, it looks great and has everything you'd expect from a premium brand. So what are my final thoughts and who's the Ibis Ripmo V3 for? Man, these bikes sitting around 150 mils of travel are getting harder to differentiate. So many of them do so many things well. But what this and bikes like the Hightower and Sentinel do well are being that one bike. For a long time, I would recommend people get an Enduro bike if they wanted to ride the resort once a month. And while that may still be the case depending on your everyday terrain, for a lot of riders, this bike would do just fine. For much of what I would generally ride in Colorado, this would be a great option. But if your terrain leans more fast and chunky, I'd probably go with something like the Sentinel or Yeti SB140. However fast and smooth, rolling in tight, this is the bike. This bike reminds me of another Dave Weigel design, in that of the Evil Offering. Both bikes are a great balance of fun and control, with the Ripmo leaning more towards climbing speed and the Offering descending control. Do everything trail bikes are an obvious oversimplification, and it's still important to know what you want and like. We talk a lot about terrain, but also your expectations.
Ah, it feels so good.
If you want a bike that's quick off the ground, loves to strap corners, or sees everything as a jump, the Ibis Ripmo delivers. Thanks for watching. Spring is upon us, and reviews are coming fast and furious. Subscribe so you don't miss out. If you're looking to pick one of these things up, please click through the affiliate links in the description below. Jensen USA has this and more. There's no additional cost to you and it greatly helps the channel. Now get out there, go fast, and take chances. See you next week.
How's it going?
Hi.
Was that yours, the dog?
Yeah.
How's it going,
I
bud?
just want to make sure you heard me.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I don't have bells.
No worries. There's one more behind me and then a couple hikers.